Good morning and welcome to the Leanlab Masterclass webinar. Today you are in for a real treat. We're inviting you to hear the journey of LocalTapiola, the Finnish insurance giant, how they have completely transformed their customer-centric development approach. In the last 2.5 years, they have moved away from guessing customer needs to continuous collaboration with their customers to build better journeys. Today's session split into 3 parts. So we hear the origin story from Jenni, how LocalTapiola changed the way they develop and went on to the customer-centric development mode. Then we hear in more detail how Jenni and her team have built and how they run their private customer community. And then we talk about the impact, the results, what they have achieved through working in closer collaboration with customers. I'm your host. My name is Ville Osterlund. I'm the founder at Leanlab. And my co-host today is Jenni Reijonen, Head of CX Renewal and Design Tools at LocalTapiola. Welcome, Jenni. So how are you this morning?
Thank you, Ville. The morning is great. I'm happy to be here.
Before we get started, the details, it'd be great to hear a little bit about your role at LocalTapiola, and then maybe you can set the scene for us to help us to understand the context behind your CX transformation initiative.
Sure. So I'm Jenni Reijonen from LocalTapiola, Finland. LocalTapiola is a group of mutual companies offering lifelong security with, for example, insurance and investment products. And we have around 1.6 million customers. I work in our life insurance company where I'm responsible for renewing our customer experience. So I make tools, build models, and implement them. I'm, for example, the founder of our customer community, and I'm hands-on in the design projects supporting our business's subject matter experts. And we have a huge ongoing business transformation program during which we will renew our ways of working, design new services, products, and processes, and utilize a new efficient core system. So instead of just replacing the old legacy systems, we are aiming at growth through customer experience renewal. And previously, our approach to development had been quite system-centric, and design efforts were rather fragmented, non-existent, or used only to finalize new stuff. And promoting design thinking had been rather slow and challenging. Each project progressed according to the approach of its leader, design-oriented or not, and often with a ready-made solution already in mind. So to achieve our huge business transformation goals here on the ground floor, we had to rethink our development models entirely. We realized that since we are renewing our entire offering, it would make sense to also invest in our ways of working and adopt customer-centric and scalable development models. We have, for example, built a concept design model based on Double Diamond, and we have agreed that all our new products and services go through these models. It is forbidden to just replicate the current offering and the processes, but we must truly understand the customer needs and respond to them. And these bubbles here are the voice of the customer. Customer insights play an important role on every stage. We began by defining the goals based on customer expectations. Customers take part in our design process, and we ask them to provide feedback at various stages. And our customer community is super valuable in this. Our community has been up and running for 2.5 years now, and our team of community managers is running it actively.
So let's begin to dig deeper into the origin story, why you wanted to start your own private customer lab. What sort of challenges and what was the kind of the current state at get-go when you got started that you wanted to solve with running your own private customer community?
Well, the ongoing transformation is the biggest one in our history, and the whole renewal program is based on customer needs. And to find out and to validate this, we need to interact with our customers on a regular basis. We want to picture the ideal customer journey and then make it happen in every detail. We have loads of data, and we do regular general customer surveys and measuring, of course, and we get spontaneous feedback, but more specific surveys related to a certain topic or project were a bit difficult to arrange. For example, to send out a questionnaire, you had to place an order for getting a list of customers, which is done manually, and then another order for sending out the questionnaire. We, for example, launched an insurance product without studying the target market and celebrated the super fast development process, only to find out that absolutely no one wanted to buy it. Had we pictured the customer journey and maybe talked to someone, I guess we would have done something differently. So we set up the customer community when we recognized the need for a fast and easy way to get feedback from our customers. We made a plan for recruitment and administration and started operating and learning. And now we combine different sources of data and insights and enrich data with our customer community.
Sounds very familiar in terms of the challenges that you were mentioning. Let's do a quick interaction with our audience. So let's set up a poll, and if you could kindly answer what sort of challenges you are facing when talking to customers. So please take a moment to look at the answer options. Our moderator will kindly start the poll, and then we'll discuss some of these challenges in detail. Yeah, we're seeing answers coming through. The slow process, the process not being systematic, is coming up. The culture is missing. It's expensive. A few more answers coming, but I think what we're able to see here is that the main challenge for a lot of companies is that we're missing a kind of like an agile research process to involve customers in the first place, which then leads into very high threshold to involve customers in the first place, because it always takes ages. A little bit like what you mentioned, submitting a form and then getting acceptance. So the threshold is very high to conduct any research. And that's when the guesswork creeps into journey development. Isn't it so, like, if you think about your starting position where you started?
Yeah, I totally recognize these challenges, and I would be lying if I told you that we are always like super systematic in everything. But now testing with customers is no more expensive or slow or scary.
Yeah. So to overcome these challenges, to work in tandem with your customers, you wanted to build the customer lab. So let's dig deeper into that. So how did you get everything going, like maybe selling the idea initially, and and then down to kind of selecting which customers to recruit. And maybe you can walk us through how did you actually recruit them? So how did the recruitment process look from the kind of participants' point of view?
Well, first of all, selling the idea of setting up this customer community was actually quite easy. The need for this fast and easy way to get feedback was widely recognized in our company group. And we started to drive this from our company's and renewal programs point of view. But from the very beginning, the goal was to have one local Tapiola group's customer community, and not just life insurance companies' customer community. But we had the most urgent need, so to say. So we committed to setting it up and finding the best way to keep it going. But it was essential to have these discussions where we built the internal buy-in for utilizing the community. Everyone we talked to encouraged us to push forward, and they made wishes about the target audience, for example, but we also asked them that, do you promise to tell about this to your colleagues? And do you promise to use this? And so we got people from different parts of the group to write the data privacy consent forms and to compose lists of customers to be invited, write the invitations, and to send the actual messages and so on. And we recruited about 1,000 customers. We targeted first to our most loyal private customers. And later we have expanded the target audience a bit. And now we have also a group of entrepreneurs in our community. And when signing up, the customers are asked to answer a few, maybe max 10 questions. We ask some personal details like year of birth and where they live, and something about their insurances and finances. And the members are very active. We didn't even promise them any rewards or raffles, but we told them that we would really appreciate them taking part in our development.
Do you have any fears of people not wanting to join your community?
Yes, we have doubts, and it did require quite a lot of invitations to find the right group of 1,000 customers. But we had a plan to send the invitations in batches during a 1-week time, and it was nice to see people signing up from the day one, and we reached the target by the end of the week.
Yeah, and that of course encouraged you to go on. I think it would be good if we can a little bit talk about the motivation, which is such an elemental piece. How do you get people to sign up to your community? So if we first look at the kind of the current methodology for a lot of companies is asking customers to take surveys. And if you think about the survey participation experience, if you will, we are there treating people as passive survey takers. It's very transactional. There might be a raffle, that's it, but you are not really able to kind of connect the dots with your responses and then seeing the impact. So no wonder the survey response rates are plummeting. And of course, we are maybe over surveying our customers. So that, of course, is having an impact on the survey apathy in general. And people are not answering to surveys compared to 10 or 15 or 20 years ago. I was running a lot of surveys. We had very high response rates, but today the response rates are somewhere between 3 and 5% perhaps. So the whole approach kind of flips around when you start inviting people into your customer lab. So what you're doing is you're actually asking them to become your advisor. So it feels much more exclusive. It feels that from a passive survey taker, you become an active collaborator. and you really have a good chance of making a real impact. So here we are selling the idea of not a transaction, but a relationship. And that's what we are seeing is very effective way to recruit and motivate customers. At the end of the day, we as human beings, we are after relationships and not transactions. And that's why this customer community approach is so powerful to sort of reconnect with your customers and continue growing them in the community space where you can collaborate with them. So the engagement is totally different compared to answering a survey. What are your thoughts on this process? I think your recruitment, if I remember correctly, looked very similar to this example that I have here.
Yes, exactly. We invited our customers to a longer term collaboration with us, and we develop things for our customers only. And this is a clever and a fun way for them to take part. And we also told them that there are limited amount of seats, so you should hurry.
Yeah, yeah. It was very interesting. I was speaking to a SaaS company in Denmark yesterday, and they were mentioning this same thing that as they've been growing, they've been kind of losing the connection with their customers because when they were a small company, it was very easy to innovate and reach out to a few customers. But when you begin to grow, you kind of begin to alienate your customers because no longer you can just talk to a few customers, but you kind of need to reach out to a larger pool of customers. And this, of course, is a very effective way of doing it on scale through a digital community. Let's move on to looking at how the customer community looks like. So what can you tell us about that? Here we have the customer community screenshot.
Yeah. Well, we founded the community in October 2022, and we have had over 100 mini research projects so far. We have studied everything from investment experience to mobile app usability, and from life insurance stories to choosing a car repair shop on our webpage. And as mentioned, the members are very active. We get the majority of the answers during the first 2 days after publishing an activity. And we utilize this on all stages of development, from gathering the needs to testing ideas and prototypes. And in addition to these activities inside the community, we sometimes invite members to take part in interviews and workshops. And our customers have said that the activities are nice and short, and it's easy and interesting to take part, and that this is a great way to listen to the customers and bring them closer to the development. And they also get a feeling that we are genuinely interested in their opinions. So all in all, the community really helps us to connect with our customers faster and to deliver right solutions.
And I think if you think about the survey example where you're kind of responding to a survey behind an email link, or you click a link, this is much more immersive space, like a collaboration hub where the customers are able to see maybe some other customers, what their thoughts are on the same topics that you're researching, and then you're able to share news with customers and kind of connect the dots between the participation and the impact. So it becomes much more engaging experience, a much more immersive experience compared to taking a bunch of surveys. Let's talk about how did you get kind of organized internally, because this I think is super interesting. I think you guys done a fantastic job there. How you kind of operate the machinery or the work in the background, and it's not like bottlenecking going through one person, which is the classic market research challenge. There's one person in the company that handles all the research, but here you have actually democratized the access, and you have invited larger number of teams to collaborate with customers. So walk us through how you set it up internally.
Sure. The initial challenges or hesitations concerned the administration and managing the community after setting it up. We didn't have anyone who could work as a full-time community manager, and it would have been dumb to put a lot of effort on establishing the community and then just leave it there without any continuity plan. So we made a plan. And now we have a community manager team. We started with like 5 members from our company, and the team has been gradually expanded, and participants have been recruited from different parts of the group. And now it has around 10 members, some more involved than the others, but we all are responsible for telling about the community internally, utilizing it in different projects, and designing activities for the members. And the team members have different roles and come from diverse backgrounds, but we share a common need and desire for customer-centric development. And we have, for example, service designers, product or service owners, marketing and communication planners, as well as designers of online content and digital services. And although it's great to share the workload between the team members, it is crucial to have an owner and a head of the team and the whole community who is responsible for organizing the meetings and the agendas and collecting and sharing the know-how, planning the annual recruitments and of new members, and keeping in touch with Leanlab and so on. So I think it's a great idea to have a team, but you also need an owner. And we have bi-weekly meetings, a Teams channel, and our activity plan on a Miro board. And we manage and update the plan together with the team. In the beginning, we created just very quick and simple table on Miro, but found it to be effective. And so we're still using it. But the most important thing is that the plan is documented somewhere, can be viewed and updated, and is discussed together on a regular basis. And the format and tool itself aren't that important. We have agreed to have activities in the community at least once a month. Usually there are 4 to 5. We want to keep the community active so that members won't forget that they have joined, and they have regular opportunities to contribute. And of course, so that we can continuously learn more about how to benefit from the community and gain deeper customer insights. On the other hand, we don't want to bombard customers with too many tasks. So we coordinate the communications, and when necessary, divide the respondents into smaller groups. We have also agreed that no one publishes an activity alone, but at least one colleague needs to see it through, and they can suggest modifications or splitting the activity into smaller ones, because taking part in the activities needs to be fun and easy for the member.
And I like the way you're kind of internally screening and kind of looking at before you share it with the customers, like how does it feel to take part, what the experience is like. And then of course there's the internal kind of business view as well, like are we asking the right questions before you go into field and so on. So I think that's a really smart way. And on our platform we have preview sections where you can exactly do that, so you can share the links with your colleagues and kind of get final feedback before you go live. One question I have is, how much time do you guys spend on kind of monthly basis on planning and running research on on your customer lab?
Well, it might only take like 2 hours if you're just participating the biweekly meetings, or it could take a few hours or a day if it's your turn to design and carry out tasks, or if you have your own research needs. Occasionally, there may be more intensive periods when we're developing the community or team operations, or, for example, conducting additional recruitment. But this is part of our daily job and not something separate or extra work.
You haven't get any lip from your colleagues why we need to add this onto our list of things to do, and we are so busy already. So that hasn't been a challenge, because often
No.
it's something that companies are a little bit cautious of introducing new ways of working and how it might impact. But of course, if you're able to deliver success cases quite early on, and people are seeing that it's actually a time saver, because a little, customer collaboration, little research sprints in the early process will then, save you chunks of time later on, because you're developing the right solutions and that sort of things. Talking about the right solutions, let's move on to case examples. So, can you walk us through? You said that you've done about 100 cases so far. So, how are these different personas kind of internally using the customer lab on an ongoing basis?
As mentioned, we utilize the community on all stages of development, and each team member uses it a bit differently. For example, business and product owners might focus on product relevance and competitiveness, and they study customer expectations and needs on the business or product line. And marketing and communications managers focus on fluency and effectiveness, and they develop and test, for example, websites, campaigns, all sorts of instructions, customer letters, term sheets, and so on. And the product owner of digital services is especially interested in developing the experience and usability of our mobile app, websites, and web services. And all research is aimed at understanding and improving the customer journey. And different types of research are conducted for every stage of the journey. Here are some example studies conducted by these individuals on different roles. Product owners have, for example, studied the effectiveness of the pre-meeting information form, customer expectations for investment services on mobile app, the appeal of additional retirement insurance, and investing for a child. And related to marketing and communications, we have studied, for example, customer expectations for change communications when we make changes to our policies, and how to communicate the benefits of being an owner customer, the effectiveness on ads and newsletters, and the sufficiency and clarity of instructions and terms. And concerning digital services, we have studied online lead forms, usability of our services like navigations and filling a claim form. And all of these studies and the different stages of the journey require slightly different types of activities. And the great thing with the platform is that we have a great choice of different research methods and tests that we can use seamlessly. Ville, would you like to walk through what you and your team have built and maybe share some examples?
Yeah, no, absolutely. The core idea when we started building this platform was to kind of help ourselves and our customers to move away being stuck with surveys only, or then being stuck with 5 interviews, which is the kind of the qualitative answer for kind of in-depth research. So this platform, we developed it with the idea that, okay, we want to have more tools that are scalable and digital. So all in all, there's 9 tools that we can run between surveys and personal interviews. So that really helps us to scale the whole process. And those tools are kind of dotted across the double diamond process. So we have qualitative tools more for the discovery part, and then we have kind of validation type tools more for the end of the double diamond, where you are in that solution delivery space. So to give you an idea, like Olaf, the product manager, she might be working on evaluating a new product expansion opportunities. So she could easily invite people into a themed discussion and talk about their current needs and expectations, or she could run a diary/mystery shopping exercise and get selected customers to review, let's say, competing offering or offerings that are maybe outside Finland, but to kind of take a look at those and then share those experiences firsthand with the product team. And then when we think about Milan, the marketing manager, like you said earlier, there are, advertising concepts and all sorts of materials that you need to constantly improve. So for Milan, it could be, using the visual gallery to test initial campaign ideas, or then later on, once your campaign gets more refined, you could then run a preference test and show maybe 2 or 3 different campaign styles and get quick feedback on what kind of campaigns they prefer and why. And for David, people working in UX and UI, it's again maybe using preference tests to show different UIs and UX variants. Is it the red button? Is it the green button? Something very tactical is something that a lot of our customers use, and all the way down into kind of going into setting up a beta tester programs. So people have been asked to beta use the service, or then run kind of unmoderated usability tests, for example, so you can embed your Figma prototypes and get quick feedback on the customer experiences. And then, of course, if needed, any of these personas could always ask customers to join a workshop or join an in-depth interview session straight from the platform. So I think that's, again, really powerful. You have a platform where you're kind of seamlessly connected with customers. They are engaged and they are happy to take part in different types of research activities, also offline or through video sessions. Let's go through a few examples that you prepared just to illustrate the different tools and how it's put all in action. So the first case that you have to share with us today is the online lead gen optimization case. So can you walk us through how did the process look and what the end results look like?
Yes, we were recently working to improve the lead generation process, because the contact inquiries and quote requests are the most important leads for private customers within our group. And this development work focused on optimizing our website for lead generation. We did this in 2 phases. The first activity was purely aimed at understanding why someone would reach out via the website in the first place. What are the customer needs behind these inquiries? And do we provide all the necessary information? Is something missing, or has some content perhaps become outdated? And while data was available, but it did not fully explain the customer's underlying needs. So after finding out the motives, the second task focused more on shaping what an ideal quote request form should look like. one that is as easy and quick as possible for customers to complete, while still ensuring that we receive sufficient details to direct the request to the appropriate function or person. And based on customer feedback, we then redesigned the forms on our website.
And is the lead gen performing now better than it was previously?
Yes, it is. And of course, the optimization process is ongoing with a strong focus on monitoring the number of leads.
But I think this is really, again, powerful example. I'm not sure if everybody can see the options that you tested there, but it's a preference test. And again, this, if you don't have the customers there, then this would be very much guesswork, selecting one of the three options, and then you just cross your fingers and hope that you pick the right one. So this just helps you to kind of confirm and validate that direction. And then, of course, as you did a bit of pre-research in the background, you kind of understand the needs and motivations, what customers kind of expect to get when they fill out and send the form. So like what happens right after that, the first 24 hours. So I think this is a fantastic example. Then you've been using the customer lab also for strategic purposes. So can you walk through that example with us?
Yes, indeed. In fact, our current customer journey prioritizations, excuse me, are coming straight from the findings on Leanlab. We used our community to map out significant life stages and what customers expect from us on company level, offering level, and service level. And all this data was fed into our CX strategy process. And based on the evidence, we selected certain areas where we believe we can really make a difference and enhance the experience for our customers.
Yeah, I love the way that you've been using the sorting exercise where you have the kind of the statements, and then customers being able to sort out the statements, and then that pyramid that you had. So you were researching it on three levels, like you said, on the company level, understanding what the expectations are there, and then on a product level, and then on more personal service level. I think that's fantastic, fantastic work that you've done there. Let's move on to our final section before the Q&A. So let's talk about the impact that you have delivered with your own customer lab. So what are the kind of key takeaways or learnings from your perspective, Jenni?
Well, first of all, research is fast and easy. You want to know something, big or small, you can publish the activity today and get the results tomorrow. And there's no need to wait for a longer official study and try to get your subject included in it, but we can publish a task immediately. And people start participating and contributing immediately, so you can analyze the results already after a day or two. And in addition to our annual customer research, there was only some additional research related to certain projects. And of course, our service designers have always conducted research, but the community has streamlined the process and made it also accessible for others too. So the awareness of the benefits of the community has grown, and more teams are interested in leveraging it. And we are connecting our different teams and functions with customers. And it has always been worth asking. Every time we have learned something new, and the customer voice gets prioritized over like we know best mentality.
And that's great achievement. I heard it several times from our customers as well, saying the same thing, that don't be afraid to ask. There is nothing too big or small to be asked from customers. And I think if you think about the whole setup and the program that you're running. These are the kind of key benefits that we are seeing coming quite clearly across as you walk through your journey with Leanlab. It brings the customers on board, and it kind of systemizes the whole process, which then lowers the threshold for doing customer research in the first place, which then increases the demand from the business itself to be asking questions in the first place, because if it's easy and fast. And then of course it has huge benefits for business. So, first is that it enhances the CX development loop. So your time to market times get shorter. So you don't need to wait for 12 weeks for research results before you can make your decision. You can have those results in a day or two, or within a week. And then of course that means it's time saved. Like if you think about the lead generation form, should you have it running as it is, you would be losing customers. You'll be doing slow research. It would every week that you are not running on it on the new form, you would be potentially losing customers. So the faster you can develop it, the greater the impact for the business. And then ultimately where we kind of started today was that this just means considerably faster and leaner development. So you can really start removing the guesswork, that little devil that is always in detail. Remove that from the equation and then just develop more smartly, and develop solutions and services that add value, to your customers. Let's go through the final interactive session. So a bit of Q&A. Let's take a look at some of the questions that we might have, but also I would like to launch a quick poll on the topics that you'd like to hear more about. So if we could launch the short poll on what would you like to hear more from us on the participant recruitment, incentives, team expertise, how to sell Leanlab internally. On that selling point, while we're waiting for the results, Jenni, to what type of companies do you think Leanlab is suitable for?
I would say companies that have some sort of complexity in their products, services, or channels. So making a case for continuous improvement and iteration. And companies who want to transform from product to customer-centric. And of course, because you need some resources to do this and accumulate learnings and make the transformation from one-off surveys to continuous customer learning, you need top management mandate to improve CX.
Yeah, and I think the winning topic is the team and expertise required to run customer lab internally. So maybe that's something that we can expand very briefly. If you go back into your Jedi Council of 10 people, are they super kind of research experts, or how would you describe the skills required to master this way of collaborating with customers?
Well, some members are more experienced than the others, of course. And for more challenging research tasks, we, of course, collaborate internally or work with Leanlab, their support team, so we can support all our research projects on the customer community. So different backgrounds, different experience levels, but because we work as a team, we get great results.
You haven't felt that it would have been like a huge kind of mountain to climb to start asking questions and collaborating with customers? Yeah.
No, not at all. Well, what could go wrong?
Yeah,
you can always publish a next task if the previous one wasn't what it was supposed to be.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Jenni, for sharing your journey. I think it's super engaging to hear how you transformed the business and took the customers or reconnected with your customers and invited them to your inner sanctum to take part in the customer journey development. Thanks for all attendees joining us on the call today. I hope that you had some good takeaways. If there were some questions that weren't answered, we would be happy to answer those afterwards and communicate personally. But now I'd like to thank you, Jenni. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.